Okay, this is Mr. Meet Me, and my friend Ares is here. So, how you doing, Ares?
Doing good, doing good.
Well, today we are going to be doing a overview on all the best ops and all the way down to machine guns and on pistols. So, go check out his channel. It's going to be down in the description. He makes a lot of content. Me, sometimes, kind of. Well, let's get right into it.
Here's the way we're doing this, just so everyone at home watching knows. The rules of this are pretty simple. We're going to compare two skins. We're going to go through ops, the M4s, the AKs, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The skins are. And we are basing it strictly on looks. Which one do we think looks better? Because I know that some of these skins are worth more than others. So if it was a which one would you rather have, most people would choose the more expensive one because obviously it's worth more. They could sell it and have more money and then just buy the cheaper skin plus extra stuff. So we're doing it just based on looks. What one do we think is better? And then in turn with that, we can go back at the end and see, are the prices concurrent with what people like? Are the more expensive ones the ones that are generally more well liked, or how does it go? So we're doing a little compare and contrast, and first off we do have our ops, and we're going with the classic D-Lore versus Medusa. What are your thoughts?
Well, me personally, I like the D-Lore because I like dragons and the flames and all that stuff. Plus I like to pattern on the scope. That's what I mainly like.
That scope is nice. My thoughts on it are, if they're both factory new, I'll take the D-Lore any day, based on looks. However, the D-Lore is known to show wear quite a lot when you get up into the field-tested range, and then obviously more scratch than that. The Medusa, however, is a gamma-based skin, so it doesn't get scraped, it doesn't show wear, it's just the actual pattern turns darker. Even if you go from factory new to battle scarred, although it's darker, it's still visible, it's still a good pattern. So if I had to choose between a battle-scarred Medusa or D-Lore, I'd choose the Medusa. If we were going all the way up at factory new, I'd take the D-Lore. Yeah, if we're right in the middle at field-tested, it's kind of float-dependent, so I'm kind of on the rocks when we're in the middle. At least that's my opinion on it.
I mostly like the skin basically for the style, too.
Yeah, I like the D-Lore. I like the barrel. Cosmetics. I like the scope work that goes into it,
cool
that checkered pattern. Yeah, all around it's real nice. And for those of you watching at home, if you don't know where the D-Lore design came from, on the map Cobblestone in CSGO, when you're passing through the museum connector area to head from one site to the other, you can see, you know how when you're going towards B from T-spawn, you go into what's called museum, and then you can obviously go to drop or to long B. Well, if you take a right to head towards A and to go to like lower mid, as you're passing through that connector area, on the left side wall, there is a big painting of the D-Lore design. And then obviously it was later turned into a skin, which is now an op from the Cobblestone collection.
Now,
just some history for you.
Now let's move on to the Medusa.
Now, the Medusa it's just a great skin, I think. I all around love the cosmetics. The only downside is the Medusa face is on the stock, so when you're using it as a play skin, it's not like the face isn't fully visible. But when you inspect that, you get a nice surprise. It's a very clean skin. It's a very intricate skin. I like it a lot. I like the blue, because when it comes to the neuroscience of the brain, it's shown that blue and other light colors make you slow down and play more tactically, whereas red is more aggressive. And I think with the op, to some degree, you do have to play a little more slow and tactically than just a rifler, than just an entry player. However, there are times when aggressive opping is, of course, called for. But I think that it goes well with the theme of being a sniper, so to speak. I just love the cosmetics on it. It's definitely a one-in-one skin. You know, there's not a lot like it.
Yeah, I like the snakes on it. Pretty beast.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, we are going to be moving on to the M4A4s.
Oh, yes, the M4A4s. We've got the comparison between the classic M4A4 Howl and the M4A4 Poseidon.
The most rare skins to find.
Yeah, both of these skins are
Extremely.
legends in of themselves. I know many people whose dream skins to own are both Poseidons or Howls, respectively. And me, I want to hear what you think. What do you have to say on this topic?
Well, I like the Howl and the other one because I like fire and water. One,
Hmm.
the Howl, I like the drag. It looks like a dragon, but it's actually, is that a wolf?
Yeah, it is a wolf.
I like the wolf because its mouth is wide open and there's flames all over it. And then when the guy with a spear, the I don't know how to say this,
Poseidon.
Poseidon. Well, I like that one because there's electric eels and this guy fighting him. It looks pretty sick.
I'd have to say, personal preference-wise, I'd have to take the Howl because both of these skins, the Howl and the Poseidon, are both known to show wear quite significantly. They aren't gamma-based in any way. If you get them in min wear all the way down into your field-tested conditions, which the Poseidon can only go to field-tested and the Howl only goes to well-worn. There is no battle-scarred Howl. There is no well-worn Poseidon. But they are known to show scratches quite a lot, and I think that the Howl can show the scratches better. Even if it's scratched up, it still looks clean because of the colors of the skin. It's not as noticeable, seeing as how a lot of the Howl is black and or like darker colors, so it would blend better. The Howl, of course, being more rare and coveted, I like that. But if we're not taking any like the pure rarity or the price tag into consideration, I'd still have to go with the Howl just because it's got that red color. I personally am known to play very aggressive CT sides. I generally take very advantageous angles when I'm holding. I just think that it would all around be the skin for me. I love that one the most. It's definitely got a great backstory. Obviously, the current Howl looks different than the old Howl because the old Howl was made with copyrighted artwork, hence why it's a contraband skin, and so on and so forth. Just the backstory with it is amazing. However, the Poseidon's a great skin. I definitely like the artwork on it. I like that creative bubble design that complements the rest of the skin up towards the hand grab of the gun.
No, I'm kind of
all around just a nice skin.
No, I wish they kind of kept that in the game. It looks pretty okay.
Yeah.
So now we are moving on to the AK.
AK-47s, and today we've got for us a Blue Gem AK-47 case hardened, which for those of you who don't know, when you get a case hardened, it's based on a pattern template, and you can get case hardens that are all gold, you can get them that are blue, you can get them that are half and half, you know, a lot of variation, but Blue Gems are the most coveted, they're the most desired. So we've got a very blue AK-47 Blue Gem, Tier 1 Blue Gem versus the classic AK-47 Fire Serpent. Meep, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I like the blue, and plus I like using AKs in game. Isn't I like when there's blue on the barrel, but it looks like there's a whole bunch of random colors usually on them. But I like the blue, but mostly people like to look for the blue, basically. I like kind of goldish bluish in there, a lot of gold, more gold than blue. But me, personally, I think it's a really good skin. I think they should actually bring more of these out instead of more rarity.
So, if you had to choose between the case hardened and the Fire Serp, where would your vote lie?
I say the case hardened.
You roll with the case hardened?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. For me, I'm gonna have to go with the Fire Serpent, and my logic behind it is they do a lot with a little with this. It's a very simplistic pattern. It's not over the top. It's not very eccentric compared to a lot of AK skins, but it really gives an almost realistic decal to the skin. I could see that artwork being applied to a real-life AK-47. Yeah. I couldn't see a real-life AK-47 looking like a lot of the other skins there are, where the whole thing is just covered in paint and decals and this and that.
This looks like somebody painted stuff on it.
Yeah, it's got that balance between realism and also a nice skin. I don't know, I just think the Fire Serpent would be for me. The case hardened, of course, for those of you who don't know, is slightly gamma based, and the way I would explain it is it's just like the blue steels, if you know anything about blue steel skins, where essentially as it gets more wear, it does turn darker, and it also looks like it's getting cracked a bit, like the metal parts of the case hardened look like it's getting cracked, but it doesn't actually get scraped or worn, whereas the Fire Serpent does. However, with the Fire Serpents, you can even get battle scars that don't look half bad. If you get a good float battle scar, or even if you get a well-worn or a bad field-tested, you're still in the money. If you're getting them factory new, a factory new Fire Serpent looks just the same as a Minware one. They all look very clean. So for me, my vote would have to lie with the Fire Serpent.
I say we should move on to the M4. I forget what it's called. I never really use it.
M4S?
Yeah, M4S. I like the blue basically on it.
So for those of you out there at home, currently we are comparing the Icarus Fell versus the Hot Rod, the two more expensive, more desired M4A1S skins.
Well, I like the blue some, and then basically I like them when they go when you shoot them, they sound like they're really suppressed. I think sometimes that involves with your sound and all that stuff. But I like the red for the heat rod.
Hot rod.
Hot rod. I don't know how to say it, but I like that one because I like the pure color red. It looks really nice, and plus you can rush with it all the time. It looks pretty epic.
It's definitely got that metallic hue to it rather than like a matte coat. So it looks really nice. It looks
like
in
somebody
that
spray
department.
painted it too.
Yeah, it's got that metallic look, all purely one color. My thing, for me, it would have to come down to the wear on it. The Hot Rod is known to show wear very bad, but if I could get like a 00 float or a 000, like a minimal of wear, Hot Rod, my vote would have to go Hot Rod. If I could get a scratchless Hot. If we're just saying like a minimal wear Hot Rod or a minimal wear Icarus Fell, look-wise, I'd have to go with the Icarus Fell. I definitely think that the Icarus Fell, the blue complements itself very well. And the Icarus Fells can come in different phases, meaning that where the light blue is on it can be anywhere on the gun. So no one Icarus Fell necessarily matches another one, although there is a general guideline for them where, there's your phase 1s, your 2s, your 3s, 4s, where the blue part or the sun, whatever you want to call it, is situated on a different part on the gun. They all look very nice. I've owned many different Icarus Fells of all of the different phases. I definitely like the one that's highlighted in the picture that I'm looking at, where it's got a centered sun above the mag. So just to reiterate my point, to simplify it, Hot Rod if it's scratchless, Icarus Fell if it's both very good skins.
Well, I like the blue because it looks like something exploded on it. Like spray paint, something exploded, and it looks pretty cool. But I like basically the Hot Rod more because I like the color red sometimes. So let's move on to the USPs.
Yes. We've got for us the USP Neo Noir from the very new Spectrum collection, and we've got the Kill Confirmed from the Shadow collection. The Shadow Daggers came out in. We've got both of these for us. Meep, what are your thoughts?
Well, me personally think that I think the one with the girl on it, more girls will want that than the boys. But you never know. People, anime and all that stuff. No offense. But it looks like an anime character on it sometimes. But it looks like a really good skin because they put a lot of detail into it and all that stuff. But me personally, I like the one that has a skull on it. I don't know what it's called. The Kill Confirmed.
The Kill Confirmed.
Yeah,
yep.
I like the Kill Confirmed because it has a lot more design on it, and it looks like you're actually going in with something that you actually like to play with. What's your
For me, my vote, I'd have to say I prefer the Neo Noir. The only compliment that I could add to that would be that the Kill Confirmed is gamma based, and the Neo Noir actually does get scratches with the wear. So if I had to choose a battle scarred one of each, I would choose a battle scarred Kill Confirmed because it would still look very nice, very clean. I have owned a battle scarred Kill Confirmed. Everyone just thought it was factory new. There's very little wear shown even on a battle scarred one. So if it was in a bad condition, I would definitely take a Kill Confirmed. If they're both factory new, minware, field tested, anything like that, I'd have to go with the Neo Noir. I think that the artistic vision with this weapon is very unique. I like the placement of the female characters, the protagonist, in this piece's hair, how it drips down to where your hand would be positioned on the grip of the gun. I think all around the placement of all of the design elements in this are very well placed. I just like the way it's almost as if this persona on the gun is facing down with their ear to the floor on this gun, and you can just see them laying flat. The eyes are still wide open. They're definitely focused in on something. and you can see all the way from their head all the way back to below their waistline. The hair's coming down under the grip. I just think that it's very detailed. I think it's very well proportioned. I like the vision that the artist had with this. I think the colors complement themselves very well. They're very bright. They're very vibrant. It's not too over-the-top eccentric, but it also has that nice bright vividness that I like in a skin. It's just got that perfect balance for me. I'm definitely a fan of the Neo Noir, and that's definitely a skin that I would like to have in my collection.
I would like to have the kill confirmed in my collection, but it's quite hard to get these days. But I think that ends the video pretty much.
Yeah, but before we go, one final question. If you had to choose one skin out of all of them that we listed today, what are you going to pick?
Well, me personally, to be honest, I would be picking the USP skin, the kill confirmed. I like it the most. What about yours, Aris?
It's tough for me. It really is. I'm kind of at a draw here between the Dealer, the Medusa, and the Howl, but I'd have to say the Howl. I would have to say the Howl, and that being cosmetically it's wonderful, but also a lot of the competitive teams I've played on, a lot of the organizations I've worked with, I'm usually not a main opper. I usually am not picking up the op nearly as often as I'm picking up an M4. I have owned a Medusa before. I feel like I wouldn't be able to give it the attention that it deserves. I wouldn't be buying it enough. The Howl I'd get appreciation out of daily. I feel like that would just be more to my taste. I'd have to go with the Howl as my overall number one, but with the Medusa and then the Dealer as a close second and third.
Well, that ends the video, guys. Well, go check out Aris' YouTube channel. It's going to be down in the description. He likes to do a lot of reviews over CSGO and all that stuff. Well, if you guys liked the video, if you guys want to like and subscribe, that's all up to you guys. But if you guys like it, thank you for watching, and love you guys long time. Meep, meep.
You.